Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to read through the full article. I believe there's a link in the description. I need to give you a trigger warning. This is an incredibly gross, incredibly dark subject. So full trigger warning. This involves child abuse, child sexual abuse. So we're going to have a look at the details. Why? Because we need to understand that these sick things happen in the world. There are children out there suffering that have parents that are incredibly sick and are exposed to other sick individuals. So we need to have a bit of an understanding as to what happens. We can't just not have any acknowledgement on these topics at all. So we're going to go through trigger warnings in full force. A Washington mother has been sentenced to jail for sexually abusing her toddler daughter, as well as sending videos of the assault to at least 10 people that she met online. The scumbag is called Jessica Barrington, 31 years of age, from Spokane in Washington, I believe. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. I believe the maximum sentence was 28 years. The judge saw fit to grant 20 years in prison after the woman admitted to sexually assaulting her 3-year-old girl. And she admitted to having filmed the abuse and seemingly forwarded the footage to at least 6 people. At least 10 people. The sick mother, Jessica Barrington, discussed plans for raping, torturing, and impregnating her minor children, all under the age of 7, with the men that she met online. What the F is wrong with this woman? She also invited a man from California to her home and offered him a chance to rape the children. She's been found guilty. She's been given 20 years. I mean, what the... This is too much. She should have been given life in prison. She subjected her 3-year-old to an assault. She was attempting to subject her other children to rape. Here's a quote from the scumbag woman. "I will live every day with the knowledge that I caused your pain," the mother said in court addressing her child. The scumbag mother's attorney informed the court that as a child, the scumbag mother was a victim, that she witnessed her father bludgeon her mother to death. She claims that she suffered trauma. I would imagine that is the case, and that she was never encouraged to talk about her mother's death in her adopted home. So obviously that's a sad situation, and I have seen on YouTube there's a video. If you do a search for it, perhaps I ought to be smart enough to try to track it down myself. But there is an interview with a psychopathic child. It's very interesting, and it's about this young girl who, I can't remember her age. I'm going to say 6. And she attempted to kill her younger brother. She was perhaps she was a little bit older, 8 maybe, but she did attempt to kill her younger brother. She had assaulted the younger brother multiple times. She was planning on murdering her foster parents. And yeah, she was incredibly young, 8 years of age, and she witnessed horrors, and she was subjected to horrors prior to being adopted. So these traumatic events do mold the mind. They do create monsters. So that's terrible. But at the same time, when those monsters are created, you've got to handle them. Does that monster deserve sympathy? I guess so, on some level. Certainly the child, when she was a child and she was witness to that, presuming that that's the truth, that she saw her own mother being bludgeoned to death at the hands of her own father, that child deserves sympathy and empathy and as much love and care as they can possibly get, and seemingly that did not happen. And my guess, my speculation would be that yes, indeed, that would have been hugely traumatic. I've got to think of what we're reading this woman has done, what she's pled guilty to. Did I get that right? She's pled guilty. She's been jailed for sexually abusing her 3-year-old girl and trying to arrange for strange men to rape her other children. I mean, these are the acts of an absolute lunatic. Someone with an incredibly sick mind, just... Yeah, I should probably read a little bit more about psychology because, I don't really know how to describe this or comprehend this. This is, I don't know, just like incredibly warped minds. Seemingly, the judge kind of bought into this as well and granted 20 years in jail as opposed to a longer sentence. I think the sympathy applies to the child. It doesn't apply to the adult. I think the adult has to face the punishment for their individual actions. It's regrettable and unfortunate that as a child, this woman did not get the support that she needed. That's a major error, a major failing of society. But regardless of that, that presents no level of justification for the disgusting acts that she heralded upon her own children. That's pretty much the full article, just to confirm that she was jailed for 20 years. Could have been longer, but it wasn't. Some level of leniency given because of her traumatic childhood. I guess I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I'm not saying that I support it. I'm not saying that I agree with it. But I guess I don't hate it. I do see that there is some reason there, some level of justification, but I still don't agree with it. In any case, I'm going to wrap things up at this point, guys. Take care.